It began as an Edsel model, became its own brand, and then became a Mercury. Hi, it's Bud Wilkinson. Today it's a story about a 1964 Mercury Comet Caliente. It's a sweet-sounding coupe that belongs to classic car enthusiast Jim White of New Hartford, Connecticut, who spent 2 years restoring it.
I found this up in Albany, New York. The owner and his brother were looking to restore it, and they had it painted at the time. It was all apart, and his brother passed away. And he decided that he didn't have the heart for it anymore, and he put it on Marketplace. And I saw it. It came with a bunch of parts, a parts car, and my wife wasn't too pleased about the parts car in the driveway, but I persevered, and I had to source an engine, a transmission. The wiring was gone. There was no interior in the car, and I had to kind of build the shell from scratch and sourcing all those parts to put it together.
The Comet Caliente is kept in a spacious, spotless, detached 3-bay garage that also holds a shiny silver 1963 Chevrolet Nova SS, as well as a black 1966 Cobra kit car. But there's even more to his classic car collection. This isn't the only Comet that Jim White owns. In his garage, there's a second one that just arrived. It's parked on the other side of the garage. Another 64 Comet, this one a rare performance-oriented Cyclone.
Which is a different model than the Caliente. The body is the same, but it doesn't have all the trim pieces on the side, and it was more of a sportier Comet. I'm now in the process of taking it all apart, and the next step is, once I get it all apart, is to source even more, I guess, rare parts for the Cyclone, because they only made 7,000 of them.
As of this week, the floors have been replaced, the interior has been installed, and it's running. The Comet name has an interesting history. Originally meant to be sold by Edsel, the model got shifted by Ford to Lincoln Mercury dealers as a standalone entry in 1960 and 61, before becoming a Mercury model for 1962. White's 1964 Comets with side-by-side headlights are examples of the model's second-generation design.
It kind of jumped out at me. I'd had several Mustangs at that 66s, but everyone has one. And I liked the body style. I liked the kind of the rarity of it. It didn't sell very well back in 64. You don't find them too often. So when I saw this out there, I went out and took a look at it and brought it home. Well, I have a assembly manual that I use, so putting it together was fairly easy, and I'm kind of handy, and I've had Mustangs before, and they're very similar in their mechanics, but I think the most difficult part was actually sourcing the parts, getting the right engine for it, getting the transmission for it, because the transmission's different than the Mustang transmission. The interior was the worst. I had to go to Washington State for a company out there that actually works on Falcons and Comets, and they have the materials to build out the interior, but that took 7 months for them to turn the interior back to me.
The Comet Caliente is powered by a 289 cubic inch V8 engine, and it has a 4-speed manual transmission. White has no plans to part with either of his Comets.
No, I'll have 2 of them. I hold on to things for a while. My wife's not too happy about it, but, you know, I'll hold on to it.
And don't look for the 1966 Cobra kit car to go anywhere either, because it
has a little bit of historical significance to it, because Carroll Shelby actually drove that car and actually signed my dash. It's a keeper. My wife won't let me sell that car.
That's my ride. For CT Insider, I'm Bud Wilkinson.